Hi, everybody, and welcome. We're going to get started here, and we're going to start as usual with Ryan standing behind me, if I can get this microphone out, with Happy Bucks. So get your money out and tell us what you're happy about.
Well said, President. I think, Christina, we have a happy buck immediately. Holy smokes, it's a check too. Wow.
Yeah, this is a big one, Roger. Big check because you're matching this month. Yeah. So if you were at the last meeting, I said I was happy about doing a bike ride that started on July 12th, last Friday. And so I'm even happier this week because that bike ride is done. I am finished. And yes, 255 miles. And I just put a quick slide together. So over 3 days, we had 360 riders. We started in Simpsonville and ended at Patriots Point in Charleston. And that is me coming across that bridge. That was the last hill of the day. And just a quick few stats. So from Simpsonville to Newberry, it's 65 miles. Riding time, we were 3 hours and 40 minutes, but total time 4 hours and 15 minutes. And we averaged 17.5 miles per hour. And then July 13th was from Newberry to Orangeburg, 91 miles. You can see the riding time, total time, etc. And then the last day, it's Orangeburg to Charleston. And I realized that 65 plus 91 plus 101 does not actually equal 255. The reason for that is because day 2 and day 3, it was actually like 90 point something and 100 point something. And that's why my numbers don't quite add up. So anyway, it was a great ride. Total money raised $1.3 million for Alzheimer's research. No, you don't have to match that. Yeah. And my particular team raised over 36,000, almost 39,000. So anyway, that is what I'm happy about. And I'm putting in $255 into the cart.
Thank you, Christine. Roger, you might have to move some money around your bank account here. I feel like this happy bucks if you're matching it. What other happy news do you all have to share today? You can drop $1, $2 into the bucket. We take Venmo. We'll take a credit card, check. Terry, here we go.
I'm happy because Pam and I were in Montana last week with our 10-year-old grandson fly fishing. We caught 14 fish in one day, among other things.
Done. Thank you, Terry. What other happy news to share? Been that sad of a summer for everybody? Come on, really? You don't have to put 255 bucks in here either. $1 works. Even some change will work. We can do happy change. Any other happy news to share? Wade had a great vacation. I saw down at the beach, maybe.
I represented this club well in Saluta's Coon Dog Day 5K, coming in 12th in the 5K.
Wade will be available for autographs afterwards, if you would like. Thank you, sir. More frog skins in here. What other happy news to share? Happy bucks. All right, now I'm sure somebody had a son or daughter get engaged, or a granddaughter, grandson born, something here going on. Susie's got something.
I'm going to put this in and ask Babette to tell you about her brand new business because that just makes me so happy. She's a visitor. So Babette, tell them what I'm happy about.
All right. It's like a paid commercial. Let's say Happy Bucks can take any form you want it to.
So first of all, I'd like to thank Mike for the invitation. Again, I'm Babette Jones. I was born and raised here in Greenville. Some of you might know me from owning an all-state franchise for over 24 years, but now I'm the senior director of the Greenville Tech Foundation. My entrepreneur mind is always all over the place. So about a year ago, I won the pitch competition that is sponsored by the Hill Institute, City of Greenville, some venture capitalists and investors here in the area. So I have a ready-to-drink cocktail and mocktail coming to the market in October, and it's called 619, A Spirit of Excellence, bringing us, meaning the world, together.
All right. Sign us up for a case of that cocktail whenever you get it all ready here. We'll put it on the Rotary account. Thank you, Roger, for also covering that as well. We're grateful. Congratulations. Any other news to share? Happy Bucks. Anything exciting? Business promotions, things that you want to share with the club? Now is your time, but have no fear. We'll be doing this each and every meeting this year. Anything else?
My wife and I were married last week for 60 years. But she is expensive. I have no money in my pocket.
We do take IOUs. Congratulations. 60 years. Wow. Oh. All right.
Happy Bucks for Bill's new dentures.
Hey! I like it. You got to have teeth. It makes things a lot easier. Makes things a lot easier. Or we can get on the Apple. So, oh, look at this. There's an IOU. Do you just get that from Terry? Do you owe Terry money now? I'm a little concerned here. Is that all right? We're all good? Oh, Scott, man, what you get your wallet out here? Holy smokes. Jeez.
For rude, so I'll give another one for
Oh, man, for 60 years. All these married guys here really having a lot of support and happy to be here. You have others here? What you got, Bill? We got some more in here. You have an announcement?
Yeah, but no,
Put that in.
that's supposed to be.
You're trying to make me have a heavier bucket to carry here, man. Come on now. It's hot. Summertime. Wonderful. Any other happy Bucks? Well, I'm happy to be here and happy to be a part of club with each and every one of you and happy that you take time to listen to me try to get some more happy Bucks donations each and every meeting. So thank you all so much and hope everyone has a lovely day. Super excited to hear more about what's going on at the zoo later on today's meeting. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ryan. See if I can get this thing back in here. Can y'all hear me okay now? Sweet. So just a few announcements, and I'll talk more about this in a few minutes when I talk about service projects coming up. But we have our ramp building project. We're helping a woman who needs a ramp from her front porch down to her driveway on Saturday. July 30th, there's a Kringle press announcement going on at the Greenville downtown airport. And we'd love to have everybody turn up the can. I believe Ryan is going to be our MC. Is that on August 1st? We're doing a welcome lunch for the Alexander Elementary teachers from 10:30 to 1:30. So that's the annual cookout we do every August. Thursday is coming up on August 1st at 1. It's at 8th State Brewing Company. Health and Happiness is on August 12th in Bridgeway Brewing in Malden. And our next luncheon should be great. We have Alan Wilson coming, the State Attorney General will be our speaker on August 13th. And our Veterans Committee is going to meet right after that meeting. So any of you veterans want to see how you can get more involved with the veterans in the area, please join us right after that meeting. So just plan to stick around. All righty, if you bow your heads for me for our invocation today. For friends, food, fun, and fellowship, especially the fellowship of Rotary, we give our sincere thanks. May these tokens of your bounty nourish our physical bodies in preparation for the challenges that are ours in Rotary. Keep us always mindful of the needs of others and keep us always attuned to our calling in Rotary. We ask these things in the name of your eternal truth. Amen. Would you please stand and join us for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new Rotary meeting. I have the pleasure of introducing some guests to the club. Jason Boffey and Laura Thompson, if you could please stand. And if you could also hold your applause until all the names have been spoken. They are guests of the club. Thomas Valdez. He is a guest of Jeremy Hart, Tina, She is a guest of Susie Tumblin. Erin Brooks. Guest of Lauren Marvin, Babette Jones. Guest of Mike Snively, Stephanie Bradley. Hey, guest of the club. Welcome, visitors. And we don't have any visiting Rotarians today, but welcome and enjoy the meeting.
So I'm going to talk very quick about service opportunities. Well, Luke tries to find my slides. So this is a slide that I showed a month ago when Lisa passed the gavel to me, talking about the lack of engagement, for lack of a better term, that we've had in our recent service projects. And I hope that when I kind of pointed this out, that we might get some better engagement. But this is the sign up so far for our service project on Saturday that I talked about a little bit ago. We need really 18 people. So far, we've got, is it 6 or 7? I don't remember, but it's not a lot. We actually have 2 people from the the Reedy River Club that are coming to help out, which is great. And that is a higher percentage of their club participating with us than we have from our club of 180 people. And we need more people to engage, period, but especially in this event. Otherwise, Rebuild Upstate's going to cross us off their list of partners. The weather is not an excuse. Actually, I did this slide yesterday. It's only going to be 82 degrees. The rain chances have gone from 60 to 50 to 40 since I put this slide together. So as of this morning, there's only a 40% chance of slight rain. So I'm really trying to encourage everybody, please join us just for a few hours on Saturday. There's morning shift, evening shift. Join the 7 of us. Pull your phones out right now. Oh, wait a minute. There's a QR code that you can sign up for. Future things. We don't have a lot of upcoming events. You know, we don't ask people to do this all the time. There's basically 1 per month. So again, I talked about the Alexander Luncheon. We still could use some people to help out with the barbecue at Alexander Elementary School in August. And then in September, we have our park beautification coming up. That was delayed, I believe, from earlier this year. But anyhow, we actually have absolutely not a living soul signed up. I realize that's a ways out, but please get engaged in your club and come help us out. The other thing that I'll say is discover Rotary. You know, I always stand up here and pitch, bring your friends, bring your coworkers. Discover Rotary. I mean, it's kind of a good news, bad news thing. The good news is almost 100% of the people that are coming to Discover Rotary lately have found us online through social media, through LinkedIn, Facebook. I mean, I read all the comments, and they're not being referred like by members. That's the bad news. But the good news is our PR team has done a fantastic job of getting the word out about our club. And we've had, I don't know, probably a half dozen people per month join us at Discover Rotary just from finding us online. But it would be great if you all would tell your friends and coworkers. I'd love to see a few more referrals on our monthly Discover Rotary log. So thank you for that. So I'd also like to introduce our speaker today, and I'm very glad to have Bill Cooper here. He came to the Greenville Zoo from the Indianapolis Zoo, where he served as Vice President of Infrastructure and Construction. Bill was responsible for oversight and management of the zoo's admissions, attractions, food service, retail sales, facilities, and overall park operations. He has significant experience in the zoo industry and is recognized as a leader in the field. I think he said since 1991. So he's been doing zoos. He started down at Atlanta in 1991. While he was there, he served as the owner's representative for the successful design and construction of a $7.5 million giant panda exhibit, as well as the completion of a $9 million action resource center and countless other projects. Bill holds a Bachelor of Science degree in business management from Western Governor's University in Utah, and is a professional fellow of the Association of Zoos and Aquariums. He served as the president of the Aquarium and Zoo Facilities Association and spent 6 years on their board of director. So please join me in welcoming Bill for what's going to be an exciting program about our local zoo. Thank you.
So I'm going to start with asking, how many people have been to the zoo in the last 4 years? All right. Excellent. So I can imagine that has been the most transformational time that you've seen at the zoo. So we started really focusing on making some improvements, putting plans together, and we've come a long way in a short amount of time. So I'm here to tell you, we aspire to be the best small modern zoo in the country. We know we got a lot of work to do, but we're well on our way, and we got city support, and we've got some state support and foundation support. So we're moving along. Do I do the slides or? All right, the Greenville Zoo mission. By the way, we're in the middle of a new strategic plan, so we're going to have a rewording of our zoo mission, but for right now, it's still the mission of the Greenville Zoo is to provide an enjoyable guest experience while we support and promote conservation efforts that enhance the quality of life for all living things. I like to think that we create experiences that inspire people to care about the natural world. That's what we're in business to do. We are the conservation arm of the city, and that's what our main focus is. So a little history of the zoo. The zoo's been in Cleveland Park since 1960, so the zoo's 64 years old. There were some milestones, dates that are worth mentioning. In 1962, a new monkey dome was built. In 63, they hired the first zoo director, and they added several other animals that really made it a more compelling zoo for the time. In 71, the zoo acquired its first elephant. And then in 72, we acquired our second elephant. They were both African elephants. And as you know, a few years ago, the zoo and the city made the difficult decision not to have elephants at the zoo any longer because we just don't have the space to dedicate. In 1976, we added more snakes, turtles, alligators, llamas, black leopards. 85, our education center opened as part of what was then a master plan for the zoo. 95, the Zoo 2000 capital campaign began and raised $2.5 million and funded our education center, which we still currently have. An alligator exhibit, orangutan, leopard, giraffe, and primate exhibits, and the lion viewing exhibit that's currently there. So it gives you an idea of how old that exhibit is. 2003, the new orangutan and Amur leopard exhibits open. By the way, Amur leopards are one of the most endangered cats in the world. They are on the brink of extinction. In 2007, what was then new was our giraffe program. So brought giraffes to the zoo and opened a new exhibit. And then in 2013, a new 20-year master plan was developed and adopted by City Council. In 2016, we had the first birth of a baby giraffe, and we had almost 1 million people view that birth on our giraffe cam. So our giraffes are one of our most popular exhibits, and people tune in from all over the world to see our giraffes, especially around the time when they're pregnant, and we will hear instantly if that giraffe cam goes down. So in 2020, COVID came. We all were affected by that. The zoo was closed for several months. However, during that period of time, we had our second pair of Amur leopard cubs born, which would have been really, really big news. And our hospital was renovated and Primate Row was constructed. So a whole lot of work was done in preparation or in response to the accreditation, AZA accreditation inspection that was done in 2019 that some of you may be familiar with. The zoo had to have a provisional accreditation for a year until we got our things straightened out. So in 2021, we renovated the leopard exhibit. We added Eurasian eagle owls, a Harris hawk exhibit. We constructed a new barred owl exhibit, renovated all the ocelot exhibits. So we've done a lot of work to take the old structures and rebuild them. In 2022, the Greenville Zoo Foundation received its first, through the Zoo Greenville Foundation, we received our first $1 million from the state. Since then, they have been instrumental in getting us another $1.7 million from the state. So far, we've gotten state support at $2.75 million, which has helped us with the new exhibit that I'll talk about in a little bit called Africa Plaza. It helped us complete the giraffe feeding deck. And it also will help us fund the new Phillips family farm, which I'll talk more about in a second. In 2023, we created or completed the giraffe feeding platform that we've had 6,000 people take advantage or enjoy that experience. I'll speak a little bit more about that. And we added 15 more Chilean flamingos. As a side note, when we got here, when I got here, we only had 5 Chilean flamingos, and now we're up to 32. So we've really grown that flock. Our ultimate goal is to have eggs and to be able to propagate flamingos at the zoo. And I missed a pretty important milestone. They hired me in 2020. So in 2024, this year, we broke ground on Africa Plaza, which I'll talk a little bit more in a little bit. And we have designed the Phillips family farm, which I'll talk about a little bit more in a few seconds. So zoo operations, we are City of Greenville Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. We're part of that Department of the Zoo. We sit on 14 acres, obviously, in Cleveland Park. We generate approximately $5.2 million in revenue. That sustains our operations. So that pays for salaries, animal food, hospitalization, animal care, utilities. We operate pretty close to the budget. The last 2 years before this year, we had an operational surplus. So, and it's worth mentioning that that was the first time in history that we had done so. Historically, the city had closed the gap of about $500,000 in an operational deficit. So not only have we overcome that deficit, we were generating some revenue that we were able to put back into the zoo. So money made at the zoo stays at the zoo. This year, we didn't quite make it, but we spent extra money on the AZA accreditation, which I'll talk a little bit more about that. But we want to get ready for a good inspection, which we did have, and I hope to have some good news to announce shortly in September. I have to attend a hearing in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, and expect to come home with some good news. I think I've jumped ahead on the slide, so let's go up to page 6. Sorry about that. I should do that. So keep going, sorry. Here we go. So what is AZA? Association of Zoos and Aquariums. That is the gold standard in animal health, welfare, well-being, and operations. It looks at everything that you do, and it is the only really accepted accrediting body in the country. There is another accrediting body, but it's not as widely accepted, and the stringent or the standards are not as stringent. So collectively, AZA accredited zoos are one of the largest conservation organizations on the planet. We put back about $280 million worldwide in conservation efforts to help save animals from extinction. By way of the Greenville Zoo, we contribute over $200,000 in both on-site and external conservation projects. Of the some 2,800 facilities licensed by the USDA to display exotic animals, only about 10% of those are accredited by AZA, and we are very fortunate to be one of those facilities. Did I tell you there's going to be a quiz at the end of this to see if y'all are paying attention? Okay, all right. Pay attention. Okay. So We like to think that we are Greenville's destination place. I know that's a tall order. We're working on that. We want people when they come to Greenville to know that Greenville has a zoo. It has a zoo that's worth visiting. As it is now, we have an annual visitation of over 325,000 visitors. And we have 60,000 children and adults participate in our educational programs. So we're making a dent in the world for a zoo our size. You know, local, but we're also we're involved in some global efforts. Why zoos matter? So the most compelling reason, from my perspective, to visit a zoo is to get close to the animals. You will get close to animals that you won't see anywhere else except at the zoo, unless you're affluent, can go to Africa and Malaysia and Asia and South America. So we want our visitors to make emotional connections, so they're inspired to get involved. Change habits, to think about recycling a little bit more, and what the average person can do to help with conservation. We have several exciting programs we participate in now, Sumatran orangutans, Amur leopards, Maasai giraffes, but we want to bring some new programs to the zoo. We think we're a good fit for Malayan or Sumatran tigers, so a great tiger breeding program we could do at the Greenville Zoo. And we could add red wolves. Red wolves, they were once native to South Carolina, and they've gone extinct in the wild. So we think we'd be a good fit to try to help save the red wolves. Why zoos matter? Conservation, I mentioned earlier. That's what we're all about. We like to think of ourselves as a conservation arm of the city. Through our Quarters for Conservation program, where 50 cents from every admission and $5 from every membership is collected, we will put $120,000 towards local and global conservation efforts. So why zoos matter? There's a lot of text on here. We're the experts. AZA accredited zoos, we're the experts on breeding. The data that we collect is valuable to scientists. It helps track the genome. It helps track the species, how many species are on the planet, where the needs are. Most animals in the wild now are existing in fragmented groups. So it makes research, and if you watch enough Animal Kingdom in your life, you've probably seen where they have to go and see these things, and it's not easy to get to. We collaborate with one another in species survival plans. So every zoo, AZA accredited zoo, we work together where we are tracking the animals in captivity, the animals through the IUCN that are in the wild, and watching what's going on there. And we're trying to save a lot of animals. Our main mission, our overall arching mission, is to save animals from extinction. So let's move over to what's new at the zoo. I mentioned briefly, we got a new giraffe feeding platform. So visitors can come face to face with the tallest land mammal in the world. That is an experience you're not going to forget. I promise you, you come feed a giraffe, you'll take that with you for the rest of your life. And especially if you bring your kids and your grandkids, they're always going to remember that. So the Greenville Zoo Foundation fully funded this project, which was the first project that they had funded in the last few years. So the second thing we did, we renovated the inside of our reptile house. We put all new graphics in, with video monitors. We built a venomous snake exhibit, and we've got that built in really good shape now. So if you hadn't been a while, there's some new critters in there worth going to see. I know a lot of people are put off by reptiles and they don't want to go in and see the snakes, but they got to have some love too. So these are the things that we've done in the last year and a half. As many of you know, we had another giraffe baby birth, Blossom. She was born in the first half of 2023. I mentioned earlier we added 15 new Chilean flamingos. We had 2 red panda cubs. They're adorable, Mushu and Cricket. I mean, look at that. That's going to make you go, we got bad-eared fox kits. We had 2 litters born, and that little dude is and got to give Theodore the colobus monkey on the end. Got to give him some love. So he was born in the last few months, and we certainly have to recognize our 2 night anoles. Got to give lizards some love too. So all of these creatures are important on the planet. All right, so the biggest project that will have been funded by the Greenville Zoo Foundation is our new Africa Plaza exhibit. It will replace our Aldabra tortoise exhibit where we currently have Mac and Bubba. Mac and Bubba. But Mac's fairly new. We've had Bubba for years. Have y'all seen the big tortoises? So they'll be moving from that old habitat into here. And they'll be joined by 2 African crested porcupines, which are the largest porcupine species on the planet. So that exhibit should open by the end of the year. So that will be very well worth your while to come see. So again, it's worth mentioning that Africa Plaza was funded by the Greenville Zoo Foundation, and mentioning again, they are responsible for bringing capital support to the zoo. All right, so let's go over to the Phillips Family Farm. This exhibit will be farm animals from around the world. So we're going to have Mediterranean donkeys. We are going to have alpaca. We'll keep our Nigerian dwarf goats. We'll have cooney pigs. And we'll add a Flemish rabbit exhibit, giant rabbits, an exhibit that you can walk through and actually have contact with. So that should open in the first quarter of 2026. So opportunities to get involved. The foundation would smack me if I didn't at least put this out there. I know there's a lot of worthy causes to give money to, but remember, if there's no animals, there's no people. So as we aspire to be the best small modern zoo in the country, we need your help. Large conservation projects and exhibits come at a price. No money, no mission. So if I don't generate money, my conservation mission starts to dwindle, and we don't want that to happen. We want our conservation efforts to continue to grow both locally and globally. The Greenville Zoo Foundation is our fundraising partner, as I've mentioned several times, and they're easy to donate to. And we take all kinds of money, land, whatever. But we really need external support or private support to help get the zoo headed in a really good direction. So I mentioned that there was going to be a quiz, and I hope you were paying attention. So what is the difference between a crocodile and alligator? Y'all just wasn't paying attention. The crocodile will see after a while, alligator see after later. So there are plans for the old lion exhibit. We won't bring lions back into that exhibit. We have them in our 10-year plan. We're currently working on a facility concept plan, which is sort of a 10-year look at what we're going to be doing. We're prioritizing it based on accreditation needs, and the first one is the Phillips Family Farmyard. We have to construct a new orangutan exhibit. We're going to move away from the one that we have that's over 20 years old into a state-of-the-art orangutan exhibit where we can actually breed orangutans and have more than one family. We know that we need a new front entry. There's a desire to have tigers at the zoo. I think that community-wide, and those are glimpses into the future. And if lions come back to the zoo, they would do so in a new exhibit. They missed people, so they really liked the attention that they were getting from the keepers. But they watch us as much as we watch them. So they were as excited to see people come back to the zoo as we were. So the question is, do we collaborate with other zoos in South Carolina? So we do collaborate with Riverbanks. We collaborate a little bit with the South Carolina Aquarium. Primarily, we work through the species survival plan. We, being a small zoo, we can't do the things that riverbanks can do. So we kind of focus on, where we find our niche and participate in conservation programs that way. And I stay in touch with Tommy Stringfellow and Jeff at the aquarium for governmental reasons. We're both all three are part of the governmental operations committee for AZA, but mostly we call AZA the mothership, and that's who we. So there are programs that you can get involved with that require an annual sponsorship. Okapi is one of those programs, which is a African species of antelope. Giant pandas, you're spot on. No one owns them; they're rented. China maintains the ownership of giant pandas, and it's a very expensive project to be involved with. Zoo Atlanta, for example, is getting out of it. So San Diego's opted to bring them back, and I think the National Zoo's opted to bring them back. But they formed a coalition a few years ago to try to negotiate a better rate with China, a better deal, and it worked for a while. But those are the only two programs I'm aware of where there's sort of a financial commitment. And when we got into the giant panda business and at Zoo Atlanta, we got Yang Yang and Ling Ling, and it was $500,000 a year per panda. So you got to be a mega zoo to be able to support those programs. So believe it or not, the Indianapolis Zoo doesn't sit on city property; it's on state property. It has a governing body, which is a board of directors. They operate as a 501c3 nonprofit. They generate $45 to $50 million a year. They've been very successful in getting money from the private sector, grants and things like that, probably through the public sector. I don't know that they're positioned. I don't know how they could, since they're on state property, it makes it a little bit different. They're not a city zoo. They're not a county zoo. I don't have all the info on that. I just know they have a tremendous philanthropy initiative, and they raise money like I've never seen really outside of San Diego. Not really, not like we do. They would absolutely not like for me to say that. So we're landlocked. We're landlocked on 14 acres. We're able to use about 10 of it. If we're able to bring red wolves to the zoo in the future, we would be able to use some of the land that we currently don't use, the area that's kind of in the floodplain. I've got some designs in mind that would work for that. We're just going to focus on what we can do. I would follow the city's lead any day if they wanted to find a large. All right. Well, thank y'all for having us.
Thanks, Bill. That was very interesting. It only took me one meeting as president to realize it's better to ask the guest to sign the book before they speak than trying to catch them afterwards when everybody's circled around them. So Bill has already signed this book that we'll donate on behalf of him to Alexander Elementary School's library. Just a reminder, what's coming up Saturday? Excellent. Thank you. Perfect. Hope to see everybody there. And with that, if you'll stand and join me for the four-way test of the things we think, say, or do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? I ran on the platform of getting everybody out of here by 1 o'clock, and 2 in a row,